Hello there. Now it's time for the final boss split. So we just completed the tower and we're going to be doing circuits. I already showed this in the last video, but basically you need to make sure you have these. If you didn't get it on the first floor, which is not technically necessary. Alright, and you can see you've done it right if you've done this. And then of course, we need to remember to switch, otherwise the final boss thread won't work. Equipment, we put laser mail. And again, we don't pick up blue fiber rope in the route I've shown here. Then, we're going to land here, and I'm quickly going to eat all these extra items while I talk. This fight is really hard, or at least I find it really hard. I'm quite bad at it, so if you see me fail, that's why. I have historically been just praying to RNG that I get enough crits for the designer fight, and only recently started learning how to do it actually properly, which is technically slower, since he gives you extra attacks when you jump off. At least he does for me. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, I don't think I am though. If you want to read a written guide for this fight, I highly suggest you read Sim's NMG boss tips and tricks, and in general I suggest you read that, as it is very detailed, and if there's anything that you don't understand what I'm saying, perhaps you'll understand his language better. Now, what do I mean by the RNG's way of doing this fight? Well, basically you can just pray to get crits, and you need a few crits to quick kill him. And it's not a lot, so it works most of the time, but when it doesn't work, it really sucks and it loses quite a bit of time. So anyway, before we start the fight, we want to go into our inventory and we're going to eat the werewolf stick. This will help us to gather SP faster, and the reason we eat it now is because it's slow. So let's go into this fight here. Then, immediately after entering the fight, we eat a malt stash. We switch off the element and we start gathering SP. So what I'm doing now is I'm hitting him to gather SP, and I'm also taking damage because I want to be at Berserker while doing a strat in a little bit. So after this I'm going to jump off, he's going to do his dash attacks, and I'm going to jump off again. And he's going to hit me, this, and this, and now I look, okay, what color is his shield? You can also do this earlier, I just looked now, and I see that I need to be in heat. You can see I need to be quite low for this to work. I believe at this point you need to be about 400 HP or lower for the strat to work, around there. And then we just hit him. You can see I just now maxed out my SP bar. You need to have maxed out your SP bar once you break him here, otherwise the strat won't work. So I just broke him, and you can see I'm at 800 HP now. And so long as you are under 1000 here, the strat will always work. Now we do spicy beetle time. We switch to neutral and we use the shield dart we unlocked. Did I remember to unlock the shield dart? Yeah. Okay, so we use Guard Sphere, then we switch to shock, and then we start charging up. And as soon as he changes his sprite, you will hit him. Optimally, you want to start charging a bit slower than what I started here, and then just let go and hit him. If your HP goes under 300 before one of his hits, you need to switch to wave. In this case, it didn't. As you can see, we have a lot more HP in wave, so we can tank it better. In this case, it didn't, so I don't need to switch, and I can just continue here. Okay, he just broke, and he actually broke earlier than what we want. So now it's going to be a pretty tight setup for the next one, but we're going to be doing the same. So I need to switch off after healing. I want to optimally heal in shock because I believe it's a percentage heal. And switch to neutral, guard, switch to shock, and do battery assault. You can see it doesn't really matter if he's already hit you with this, you just need to do it before he teleports away on the first time he is down. And then once again, Guard Sphere, battery assault. And that's the first part of the fight done. Then just tank the damage here. You don't need to tank the damage. You can get lower otherwise, but I like to tank the damage just to make sure. So it does put me at risk of dying in here. And the only thing we have to be aware of is not overloading here. And of course switching to the wrong elements. So we break him. I have my shadows turned off, so this attack is going to be invisible. Now you can see I'm pretty low, and I want to tank this attack coming up. But I'm too low, and I'll die. So instead I switch to wave, and then I tank it in wave, and then I switch off of wave, and I look, what's his shield color? Well, I need to be in heat. So I switch to heat. I actually thought he was going to do one more attack. And again, I need to be full SP, I just barely made it here. Right after breaking him, I want to eat another spicy beetle attack. Switch to Guard Sphere, and then Battery Assault. Again, I look at the HP. If I'm about to get hit while having only 300 HP or less, I need to switch. And that's the sign of fight. I'm going to show that again. We're going to do it again in more of a full speed sort of environment. So, before the fight, we eat the Gravel Stick, and we go in. Then we eat the Malt Stash. You can always just press down once if you've eaten everything correctly. And I like to be neutral for this. Then I gather as much SP as possible. I jump off after he teleports away there, so he doesn't get stuck outside. Okay, I'll take the one. I want to keep him somewhat in the middle here. Just to make it easier on myself. Otherwise he can fuck you over. There I accidentally took the HP in neutral, I believe. You need to wait so you can tank it. Oh! What did I do wrong? I didn't even see. I probably didn't gather enough SP at the beginning. So that's another point you have to be aware of. Always, always, always hit him. As you can see, I'm bad at it. Usually I only focus on hitting him. Speaking while doing this is also not making it any easier. Oh, I didn't even hit a single attack. So right now I'm in trouble because I haven't taken even nearly enough damage. So it wouldn't work even if I went here. Let's not die. Oh. Oh, what a great showcase of the fight. As I said, this is the fight I'm worst at. But hopefully the first explanation worked for you too. Okay. Okay. Dash off. Take, wait until he teleports, dash off. Tank. No! Seriously? That's the only problem with the strategy. If he does the shock attack as the second one, you have to dodge the second attack on shock, otherwise you die consistently, which is really, really bad. And it's a split that sucks to die on, because you need to do all of your circuits again, normally if you die once, because you won't have your Gravel Stick, which you desperately need on the first race. Okay. Okay, jump off once. Dodge. We have full SP. Guard Sphere. Battery Assault. Tank HP. Guard Sphere. Battery Assault. HP. Guard Sphere. Battery Assault. Neutral. Take damage. Take damage. You need to wait a tiny bit after he spawns here before you hit him, otherwise you won't get any break meter. He always spawns on the opposite side of where he shoots from, so that's a little tip for you. this might work. But I'm not completely sure. It should. Okay, not if you tank the HP with oh, again. I'm pretty sure that makes a difference, at least in my field, from what I've seen. But I'm not completely sure it's an HP percentage game. That's another good fight. I think I'll just cut my losses there and stop there for that fight. If you don't understand the fight, I highly suggest you read the tips and tricks. Going through it in a bit of a slower tempo, it can help. The reason I do it like this is so you can sort of see when I release for the battery assault and when I start doing the guard sphere and stuff like that. It helps to have a visual indication of the battery assault at least for when you can release, and it's just after he changes his sprite. Just wait a little bit. Though if you do see his sprite change, you are starting your charge for the battery assault too early. I highly recommend you wait a bit, as waiting is faster. So yeah. That's designer. Let's go to creator. This is where your PBs will inevitably die. You have to dodge a single crit here, otherwise you die. And dying really sucks. As it usually does, but especially on this fight, it is so slow. And setting up wrong also really sucks. You lose minutes on this fight. He can give you 2 attacks here. He can either do the balls, or he can do his fist attack. So I could just quickly regale his save state here. Did that work? You want to see the fist first, because, well, it's quicker. Alright. You wait until he's fully down, and then you charge up a double hit it. Switch to heat while hitting him, using the assault. And then just keep an eye on overloading. Now I do this fight without taking any damage in this phase. There are other setups where you take damage in this phase, but then you have to dodge 2 crits, which, well, I don't like. It's also the reason I don't do the super fast strat that saves 5 seconds, which needs a lower health debuff. Now, the first 2 phases, not that bad, right? Now stand here, and then immediately after he enters wave, you eat a spicy beetle type. And then you switch to shock, and then you start tanking hits. We are looking out for crits here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We are looking for a health to be about 16 or 1700. It's a bit on the low side, but he hasn't got a crit, he's just high rolled us. So now, we tank the first hit here. Look, is that a crit? It's not a crit. I can tank the next hit as well. Look, is that a crit? It's not a crit, I can tank the next hit. Now, we switch to wave before tanking the last hit. If you get crit by that fist, you die. And then, we immediately switch to shock. Wait. And hit him with chain bits. Now we need to hit this trunk. A bit more than that, actually. Okay, this won't work because I just fucked it up because I was busy talking. But anyway, we want to hit the trunk until it's 1 pixel away from breaking, and then we want to do a setup, but this won't actually work, we're going to die here. So I'm just going to improvise now. And then break him. And I want to be low on HP here. And then I want to just push the wave and do wave motion beam here. We want to be under, I think it's 1300 HP when we start charging up wave motion beam. Oh, this is loud. 1 second. We want to be under 1300 HP when we start charging up wave motion beam while being in wave, otherwise this won't work. And as you can see, that's the fight. This should probably work, yeah. And the reason we do it like this is because then we get Berserker, which kills him quicker, much quicker in fact. I think it's about 20 seconds from doing wave motion beam without Berserker, which you can only do with blue fiber rope, by the way. It won't work if you just don't take any damage and do it with this strat. So, that's the basic fight. Of course I had to improvise there because I missed my window of hitting him low, and then I missed when I normally eat. So let's see if I can show it again without missing that. But again, this fight can be a total bitch. I'm just gonna quickly eat a spicy bun because it doesn't matter. He gave me the good attack first. It feels weird not having any sound effects on, but it is what it is, I mean. Now you should normally start, this is a fight with no SP, so this is about a fair comparison. Just make sure to balance your elemental overload, otherwise you really don't want to really don't want to overload here. And also make sure you have enough SP. So don't go crazy with combinats. You can use them of course, but don't use them when they aren't necessary. Here's a good place to use just 2 flame jabs. And then I hit him a bit, I eat the spicy bun and I switch to shot. I look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1786, that's good. That's not a crit, that's not a crit, that's not a crit. Oh, I accidentally switched to flame instead of wave, because I was trying to do it with another finger. But anyway, if that had been in wave, I wouldn't have died. Well, I guess we can see the normal setup here. Or the slow me, I mean, setup. So we want to get fists first, because he's going to give us fists no matter what, and that's how we break him. So him doing the ball attack just loses time. This really isn't supposed to be a hard strat. It can just be a nerve-wracking one. So now the problem is I don't have full HP, which I want to have here. So we're gonna have to have an eye out on our HP, sorry. See, that is fine. You saw I just healed a bit. And that's the crit. Oh my god, how unlucky can you be, dude? That's the crit we want to dodge. Can't win him every time, right? At least I'm pretty sure that was the crit we wanted to dodge. You can see not having a spicy bun here, so it sucks. Easy to get elemental overload. I suggest you eat a spicy bun at the start of the fight if you have an extra. Remember, you need to have 2 spicy buns, as you need one for this setup to work. Okay, trying not to take any damage, as I actually want to do it this time. Okay. Eat a spicy bun. Spicy beta type. Look out for crits. No crits. No crit. That's a crit. So you saw I switched it out. I'm gonna do the same setup as before. Get this guy to 1. And now I wait. As soon as he has his arms fully extended, I eat the spicy cheesy special. Hit, hit, and hit, hit. I break him, jump off. And then I immediately get stuck on the trunk, but that's it. This should hopefully work. Ooh, but it might not. But it will. Okay, good. Or at least it should. No! Getting stuck on the trunk fucked me over. Classic. That's the sort of game you run with this guy, right? I guess you see why I hate this boss. Well, while we're setting this up, I guess there's a few things I want to say. I'm not perfect. If you watch these guys and think they're perfect, they aren't, obviously. I'm not even close to Sims level. But they are a good enough starting point that you can learn the basic strategy from, at least I hope they are. I suggest watching Sims run, obviously. It has a few outdated strategies, like the shock strategy. It's not up to date, what he does in shock. And the wave route is not up to date. Those are just the 2 things I can remember off the top of my head. take 1800, that's sort of fine. Okay, this is about where we want to be. So it was a bit of a high start. So hit, break him, and then look at your HP. If it's over 360, you jump off, and then immediately go up here and start your wave motion beat. Hopefully this time it actually works. It would be kind of awkward if it didn't. There are other setups for this. As I said, you can take damage in ice and then carry that damage over, continuing to stay low. I like my setup because it takes all the damage once and there's basically no chance of dying from it. Unless of course you get crit by that one attack, which you don't want to get crit by. That's how it always goes with these sorts of fight, isn't it? Okay, slow pattern. Yeah, and it's just all about gauging your HP. The better you are at that, the easier this fight will be for you. Personally, I find the designer fight much harder than this fight, but that might just be me. I know Yoshi finds the designer fight quite easy, at least compared to what I find it. Or at least she's really good at it. And this fight, I mean, learn whatever setup works best for you. Note that since World Record does the super fast version of this fight using another food item, so if you want to learn that instead, feel welcome. It saves 5 seconds. Yeah, and that's basically it, right? It saves 5 seconds and it's much harder. Also, you don't get a 1 crit dodge setup, you get a 2 crit dodge setup. I feel like this is going pretty low compared to when I started the art, but who knows, maybe I'm just wrong. Surprisingly, I'm not completely bad at it. I don't know why I switched to heat in the beginning, it made me look completely stupid. And again, slow setup, that's just RNG. And also, I guess I should say this, I haven't said it at all in these tutorials. The skin I'm using is something I've just created myself. It's not an official skin or anything. Oh wow, I forgot to hit him. That's never actually happened to me in a run, so I'm happy about that at least. That sort of sucks. Remember to hit him! We gather SP for a reason. And you really do need the SP, right? Especially for the final boss strat, it would sort of suck setting everything up perfectly and then not having enough SP to actually pull it off. If you don't know, the Discord is just the official Radical Fish Games Discord under the speedrun category, the speedrun tag, whatever it's called, channel. I think it's called the channel. I'm tech illiterate. I might do a setup video as well, though again I'm tech illiterate, so at least I'm really bad with it compared to every other runner in the category. They sometimes just speak in code to me. Probably not actual code, but it feels like code to me. Oh, that was heat, which was unnecessary. Ooh, almost broke him there. really low actually. But yeah, I suppose that's what happens when you start with 800 HP. This is always nerve-wracking. No matter how many times I do it, it just... I never know if it's gonna work or not. But yeah. Have I convinced you to use the strategy yet? I'll just go through it one more time. And yes, I am sort of just showing off the fight more and more. It's just so you get the an understanding of everything that can go wrong. So far I haven't been crit at a bad time, but that is another thing you have to be really aware of. Sometimes you get crit by the balls, and then you have to take the last 2 hits in wave, and not just 1. I think that may have happened once. But otherwise, I'm just continuing to show you know everything about this fight there is to know for this setup here. The other setup jumps off the platform one more time in between getting hit, which I find to be really surprisingly difficult. I sometimes miss getting hit, which just completely sucks, because that ruins the entire setup and you don't have low enough HP, and then the trick doesn't work and you fuck up the final boss kill and you don't get a PB. Now let's see here. And you don't want to stay in wave for longer than you have to, because it has a lot of HP regen. I know the setup does not work with the Rising Superstar, sadly. You don't get enough low enough HP. You need to be between 600 and 800, I believe, for the Rising Superstar to work. And the lowest we ever get here is like 850, if you do it right. But it does consistently work with the tiny bit easier Rising the Spicy Beetle type strat. But yeah, I honestly think that's about it. I mean, what more is there to say about this fight? Don't do this. Actually dodge the attacks. Yeah, you tank all of the hits basically, looking whether or not you have to switch to wave. Then you eat your healing item at the right time, while damaging his trunk. Be careful not to over damage his trunk. You don't want to break him early, that sucks ass. If you do get hit like I have now, you can always just switch to wave for a tiny bit, heal some of it up. Oh no, I'm taking a lot of damage actually. And then improvise. I mean, it's not like it has to be this strategy that works for you. You can see here I'm very low on HP, so let's try improvising. Okay, now I'm full HP. And then I can do this right normally. I got hit for a lot of damage, but it's fine. Bam. Oh, I'm slow. I'll just barely make it anyway. Let's wait a bit. Jump off. It's gonna be interesting to see if this works actually. It probably will. You know, just always remember you have to be lower than 1000. It didn't work, and the reason it didn't work is because I healed while charging up the attack. I shouldn't have waited to jump off, I should have just directly gone for it. That's often the case. Ooh, the drama didn't work, setup useless. No, I just did it wrong. I should have just, instead of waiting to have enough HP to jump off, which was completely dumb of me, I should have just directly gone up and slapped him in the face. With the wave motion beam. And not take any stupid damage. I just can't help but test these things out, even though I've already tested them out. Is it better to wait, or is it better to just go? It's better to just go if you have more than 360 HP. You need to jump off, and that's the only time you need to jump off. Otherwise, go. On this approach, like we have just barely too much, you can time it so you can jump off on the heal frame. But maybe don't do that unless you have a lot of confidence in yourself. Always be ready to switch here. Oh, classic. So this won't work because I got stuck on her. Probably at least. You know, you could just never have good things in this game. There's always something that can go wrong. It sort of sucks that you can spawn under him, but just be ready for it, I guess. Be ready to just dodge around it. I got lucky here, I think. No. Okay, so I told you it wouldn't work. In this case, just continue the rest of the fight, basically. But otherwise, it is probably faster to actually just jump off and kill yourself. Or tank all the damage. Yeah. If you spawn under the trunk, you want to immediately recognize you spawned under the trunk, or like what I just did, like an idiot. And just dash around it. That's the problem with jumping off, but every strategy jumps off. So nothing really you can do there. You can see this is all just time loss from doing the setup perfectly. But again, so long as it's in the last phase, it's not really that big of a time loss. You need to have all of them before you can kill him. And you should probably switch to heat. And also, fun fact, this continues on infinitely. He doesn't get up, he's already dead. So yeah, let's see if we can end on an actually a good fight for some reason. It just seems to be hard. Yeah, that's at least something. But yeah, that's my setup. Some people like other setups. I feel like the consistency of jumping off is the only problem with the setup. It works perfectly whenever it works perfectly, and not the other time it just sucks so ass because you're so close to getting it. Always remember to eat the spice bar. I always just stare at my HP here. Okay. A good way to avoid actually being stupid is just jumping off further away from him. Like this. But that makes it slow to go back. So you have to jump off right on him. This game sucks! This won't work. But it'll probably feel like the last phase as well. Or maybe a bit before? No. Did we just get lucky? Yeah, we did. Okay, we got lucky here. This could have failed. Practice this fight. Get good at the game. Perhaps not. And set your goal to actually just completing one run. Don't start thinking about what time you're gonna get as the first run. Usually it's not a good time. Surprisingly, even though it doesn't look like it when you look at the leaderboards, Some of us has actually practiced the game a tiny bit. Just a few hours. Nothing major. You can easily catch up if you give it a bit of practice. There's nothing in here that, you know, any person couldn't do. Even if you are a bit slow. My reaction time is shit, for example. Anyone can play the game. And yeah, just remember your setups. This is sort of an awkward place to end, but I don't really know what more to say. Oh, that's a lot of HP for ending this, so we'll definitely have to jump off here again, which I have shown I am completely good at and is a very safe thing to do. I could delay eating that a tiny bit when I see my HP being that high. Okay, almost died. That's fine. Again, it's about 360 and you want to jump off. My name is Shock, I should say, because obviously you don't want to start jumping off in a wave because that doesn't work. And you can jump off multiple times, like this. If you spawn back with more than 360 health, which you will if you have like 500, because you will heal in between. And that's the game. I mean, nothing more to say, right? We get the bad ending, obviously, because it's faster. Good luck running it. Ask away. Questions are always welcome. Check out the resources, the guides. I highly suggest checking out other people's guide for the individual tricks. I didn't really go that in depth with them. I highly suggest you check out other people's run, perhaps the marathon runs. Maybe they do things differently. And yeah, again, ask in Discord. Everyone is welcome. Give it your best shot, right? And set your goal to doing just a single run in the beginning, no matter how slow it is. Hopefully it's above 3 hours though. Below 3 hours. My first run, I believe, was 3 hours and 40 minutes, but that was a long time ago. And that was before all of the shenanigans we know now, which hopefully makes the game a lot easier to run for new players. Yeah, see you.